Yo, yo, my sovereigns, what up? This is Boba Fett, uncensored on the internet, with episode 200 of Splinterlands 101. That's one episode a week for 3.8 years. How's that? And we haven't missed one, have we, Matt? We have never missed an episode. We've had a couple of, that have been a day or two late, but we've never missed an episode in nearly 4 years. So, yeah.
I'm more the flimsy one.
Right.
I'm the more one that flops on and off whenever he pleases. I'm the one, I'm the cat.
So joining us tonight to help us celebrate 200 episodes, anyone who's in Splinterlands, of course, is going to recognise Yabapi Matt. Thank you for taking the time and coming on. We really appreciate it.
Well, I guess thank you guys for doing this every week. Not missing an episode for 3.8 years. That's just crazy.
Yeah. In fact, let me just share something that I was showing the group earlier. This is how it all started, and I'll just open this up. And I just messaged Matt Two Castles there one day with this. I think would you be interested in just doing a 5-part episode, and we just never stopped. But this was the original plan, yeah. So we're still going.
That was
And
the
anyone
blueprint to
who-
entrap Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. It was
Every
just-
time I think I'm out, they drag me
really
back in.
fishy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who doesn't have enough SPS and complains about anything in the tavern will know who Azakon is.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I know everyone here and most of the people out there as well. So yeah, glad to be here.
Yeah. So don't complain about what's going on if you don't have enough SPS, because Azakon will be onto you straight away. Yeah. And of course,
But
Matt-
nobody has enough SPS, so I guess nobody can
Nobody
complain.
has enough SPS.
Nobody has enough SPS, of course.
Nobody
Yeah,
has enough
absolutely.
SPS.
And B Jangles, the People's Guild, welcome. Great to have you on as well. We've sort of, we've been on each other's shows. Although mine never got to air, mine was censored because due to the time that my interview was and the word that started with the letter V that no one was allowed to say, that episode got banned. So my apologies that there's a gap in your chronological show, but yeah, we've had a lot of fun together. Back in the Wascal days, and Jimmy as well. So welcome to the show.
Always a pleasure hanging out, guys. And yeah, episode 200 is awesome. We're never gonna catch you guys, but that's it's not a competition. We're all doing this thing together. And I was actually thinking about there's all this talk and hubbub going on about YouTube on the 17th of November potentially starting to crack down on stuff.
Video on that.
And one episode of ours that immediately jumped to my mind was yours, Bob. We've already experienced what it's like for an episode to be banned and go through the appeal process, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
But that episode does live on Spotify. It's not on YouTube, but
Okay.
it's everywhere else. Yeah.
And there was
But,
one
yeah,
episode
thanks for having me.
we were talking. Thank you for coming. Matt and I were talking about the castle in the swamp and type thing. And I put like a 90-second sound bit into the video from Monty Python. And that 90, and it was fair use or whatever it's called, but no, that 90 seconds was enough for that episode not to make it to YouTube. So I've been here I am at the moment. I'm actually in Hive Hub, Guatemala, also known as the Lago Atitlan. But this is Hive Hub. Starkers, butt coins, eco. Actually, here we go. This is butt coins.
I heard that name. How's it going, guys? Hope you're all
What's
doing
up,
well.
Butt Coins?
Just got out of the sauna. I'm going to join the meeting in like 20 minutes and say hi.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Oh, good. Oh, man, that's great.
So just coincidence, episode 200, I'm here at Hive Hub Guatemala, and this thing about YouTube came out. And last week's episode, Matt and I would say, hey, look, all these people that keep commenting on YouTube, and it's like, if you have a Splinterlands account, you're already in Hive. Utilize it. I mean, I was lucky I got invited to work at Talentland when I went to Guadalajara. So I met all of the crew there, and I learned a lot about Hive. I've been here since before the hard fork, but, small slice of the pie, my mind was blown by what else is going on with Hive. So, yeah, maybe this is a good opportunity now to get people start using ThreeSpeak, start using Hive rather than... But YouTube, of course, is good to... because if we're just preaching to the converted all the time, but you can put a post on ThreeSpeak or Hive and then put it on X, unless Elon Musk goes the same way. But yeah, there we go.
It is.
So,
it is funny.
Matt,
It is funny seeing people in Discord who've only played Splinterlands and have really no other idea about crypto generally, saying, "Oh, we should just move to another chain," without any real comprehension of exactly what Hive is, where it came from, even the fact that it's because it's so thoroughly decentralized and because it's so battle tested with all that Justin Sun stuff. That's the reason that me personally, that I am willing to hold investments and champion investments and put my name and face, and say, hey, this is a project that I think is a good thing. It's because of where we are, right? Like this is the backbone of where we are. And obviously Yabba's built a fantastic thing on top of that, but people with no comprehension just saying, let's just move to, why don't we just go to Solana? Why don't we? It's not. Yeah, we would be missing out on what happens at Hive if we were to do that.
They just think it'll pump their bags. That's what it all comes down to. They just think so. I don't think it will, even if we were somehow able to do that, which we're not really. That's all it is. So it just means like I don't really care about anything other than just trying to do whatever we can to make the price go up, however artificially or temporarily. I'm like, if someone like came to me and was like, hey, let's move to this thing, and they gave me good, technical reasons or whatever reason, but no one has any, like, there's just no reason that I've ever heard why it's actually better other than, there's lots of money on that chain.
Yes,
that's what it is. And
let me add one thing to Matt's comment and this whole thing about people saying move to a different chain. And Matt, in our case, we actually have a precedence, and it's a pretty nice circular event that happened. Remember the Real Wolf and his game. So he actually even wrote a proposal, SPS proposal, for us to fund that game that did not get the vote necessary, because at that time we have a competitive proposal on our own. So he moved his game to ETH essentially. This is long story short. Just a couple of weeks ago, this is all public information. A couple of weeks ago, I had an extended phone conversation with Real Wolf. He actually reached out to me and called me on Discord, and we talked for about an hour and a half. And he basically says that it was one of the biggest mistake that he has made, try to move his game to a different chain. And it was a complete failure, not failure of the game. The game's fine, but he essentially lost the community. He did not make any new community over there, and he lost the community over here. So it's a lose-lose situation, and in the end, nobody won. It's basically he had to shut down his game, and he doesn't know what to do with the assets. So that's the long story short. The good thing is he was humble, and he accepted. I predicted that, and I came on to him pretty hard when he tried to do this. But he actually accepts his mistake, and now he realizes it. So it takes a lot of guts to do that in public. So I appreciate him for that. But Matt, you probably remember when this was unfolding back then.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely. I met Real Wolf in person at least once at a Hive Fest or Steam Fest at the time, and he's a real good guy. Yeah, and I mean, sometimes you gotta try these things to find out. But I also, there is the argument that there are a lot of people on these other chains also, and there is a lot of money there. And so I think there's tons of opportunity. You don't have to take the game and move it. Like I really don't see like who cares what blockchain really the transactions
Yeah.
are on, right? Like the stuff we did in the past with like Wax and Atomic Hub and Tron and things like I would love to do more of that stuff. And we just started, with the base liquidity pools and all that stuff. So we should do stuff with all the other chains, all the other communities, everything we can do. But like, there is no reason. It just makes zero sense to take everything we have and just move it to another chain, which would just be worse. um, just integrate with the other chains, marketplaces, assets, like whatever. There's like a million things you could do that are actually helpful and useful. But everyone just focuses on like where the core game is, as if it's like if I'm using Netflix and I'm like, well, Netflix shouldn't store their videos on Amazon Web Services. Why don't they move to Microsoft Cloud or whatever? I'm like, no
I
one
don't
cares.
care where Netflix stores their video. I just want to watch the movies.
Yeah, so that's what I think of when people say we need to move our game to Solana or wherever.
It's funny. We
And
have
how
the
much
crypto
is
gaming.
loyalty worth?
Yeah, and if you've been disloyal to the old chain, will you be loyal to the new one? We've got the Crypto Gaming Recovery Fund, which is great, but it would be nice to reach out to other chains while they still have dry powder. Not, I've pushed all my chips under the table, I lost them all, I got burnt. All right, now I'm moving over to the Crypto Gaming Recovery Fund. Can you, we got refugees. We don't have fighting men. We got refugees, and that's fine. That's nothing personal. They're good people. Just sometimes it's just the roll of the dice, right? So, and look, being on Hive is not guarantee. D City. After many years, Gerber hung up his spurs and said it's just not going to happen anymore. He put in a Herculean effort. There was a lot of coding went into that, and as far as I'm aware, it was a one-man show. So lots of fun, but sometimes it's played out.
Yeah, and there are numerous examples of that, right? In Hive and in other chains, right? It's not that the Web3 games are being successful anywhere, right? The most successful Web3 game is Axie, and their record is quite tainted. I would say more tainted than our record, right? I mean, Matt knows about the story very well and can comment much more critically than I can. But that's really it, right? In terms of long-standing Web3 games.
Yeah, there's not a lot. I don't know, like a lot of it just depends how you look at things, because really, I mean, I tend to think that Splinterlands is doing quite well overall. It's just a lot of people look at it compared to the highs. So yes, there was a huge bubble. Things kind of went crazy. But there, I mean, there's nothing like we could do about that in the sense of like, it was insane. It had to come down significantly off that. That's going to be difficult. But if you look at it from a general perspective from when we started, like with the exception of Chaos Legion, I think pretty much all of the assets in Splinterlands are worth more than they were when they initially launched. Right? So like generally stuff is going up, in value over time. We're growing. Right? There's this like crazy huge bump in the middle just because of outside market forces when kind of people lost their minds for a year or so. Like, and so that just taints everyone's view. They're like, oh, everything's down, everything's horrible, everything sucks, and I get if people bought in at those times, that then they've, lost out on that stuff. But like all we can do is just continue to build a product and try to make it better and grow over time. And I just really think if you look at it from that perspective of like when things actually launched, that's happened. And also I hope that going forward, people start looking at it more as just a fun game product where there's also this economic aspect to it. Not just like, I'm going to put in some money and I want to have this ROI every month. So I just, it really bothers me. I feel like that whole period just really tainted everyone's view of everything.
Well, I think it's important to acknowledge that that is kind of the big asterisk there is that's when we gained a lot of traction. That's when we saw a big influx of players. We've heard, the greatest marketing is green candles, so it's a little bit of a double-edged sword. I think we have done a tremendous job, and we were talking as we were kind of, just shooting the breeze prior to hitting record and getting this show on the road about just the overall amount of work that the team has done and the state of the game, and just, man, it feels like, I had a little bit of a catch up with Blaze the other day, and I feel a sense of relief when I talk to somebody like Blaze and he doesn't know, it's hard to keep track of all the new stuff that is going on. Like that's such a great problem to have, because there is so much going on. Like, there's so many different ways to consume Splinterlands, which is a great position to be in. And I think the more that, the fact that people, back to your earlier comment, Bob, about folks coming in and not realizing that they have a Hive wallet as a natural byproduct of signing up for Splinterlands, that's actually, in my mind, almost a perfect scenario, right? Because people aren't realizing that they're interacting with maybe it's not perfect, but it's completely painless, right? Which is how we want these sorts of transactions to be, where you're not running into, tremendous gas fees and all sorts of transactions that are being taxed at a high rate by the blockchain. So yeah, it's we're in a really good position. I completely agree with Yaba's take there. It's going to be interesting to see if and when that altcoin market does come. I don't know. I mean, I've been keeping an eye on it the last couple of weeks, and everybody says November's historically a good month. Well, jury's out. But I think we're positioned very, very strongly to succeed as best we can.
So I shared an article there for all of you and Matt in particular to look at in the chat. It's written a couple of months ago, and it says, "Are we a gamer or are we a, essentially cryptodegan?" Right? There is always this in Web3 games. There is this two school of people, right? The true gamers and the ROI seekers. And that's the problem that Web2 games do not have. They do not have this other group of people to satisfy. So this is where, this is a fundamental issue of, how we get our product to the people. The Web2 games only have to create a game, and they have a lot of money. They have investor backing. A lot of them are brand names. The ones that are not brand name have VC support. It's a completely different playing field. But in one of the reason this article talks about is one of the reason the crypto games or the Web3 games have not been able to find a perfect success for an extended period of time is this two different clientele, and to balance this two clientele on how to actually get a product in front of both of these people and get them to like it. So I thought it was a pretty balanced view. So have a read when you get a spare time. It's pretty nice.
And Matt,
That's
your
it,
guild
right? We're
has
trying to cater.
the logo of your guild, Matt. This
Of my guild? I don't know which Matt
Sorry,
you're talking
yeah.
to, because we got
yeah,
No,
I just realised that we got
Yeah, we have two
for
Matt.
convenience. I'll call you Yabba.
Yeah.
And,
We should call you Yaba at least. I mean, I typically
Yaba,
call Yaba
yeah.
Matt and also Matt.
Yeah.
I call both
Yeah.
of them Matt. So that's
so
but
good.
I was mostly referring to Yaba when I pointed that article.
Yeah. But Two Castles, your guild when it comes to investment and gaming.
Yeah, Roaring Twenties. I had the tagline from the start: "Casual gamers, serious investors," and that's been my and we were talking before the show about paying out these bounties where someone will send me a link to a match in Modern, and I'll watch it to see did they beat Yabba and still have more than 20 health remaining, or did they meet the criteria, and then I'll just go and pay out the bounty. But I'm watching these matches, and because I've not been playing in Modern, I've just been sort of languishing in Wild until I recently retired to focus on land. It's been, I'll look at it and just look at what is going on. I don't recognize any of these cards. I don't recognize the abilities. And that's fine. It's not my focus is all about land and obviously being the DAO chair and stepping into more of a, a different role. But yeah, Roaring Twenties, I think set it as start how you want to start and say, look, we're serious investors. We've got like I think 6 or 7% of Pretoria in Roaring Twenties, and so it's always been look in case there's a benefit for guild members, let's do that, right? Let's have a guild. But if you play the phrase, if you join the guild, if you join the brawls, great. If not, that's okay. You can be hands off. This is not going to take 100% of your time. And we have members that we haven't seen for really in person in a year. Exile, for example, EXYLE. He was really active around the Steam days. I've asked him, does he want to sell his seat? And he's like, no, that's okay. I'm fine. If you're fine, we'll just keep going. So I'm like, yep. Those who want to be in it for the long term, this is where some of them have landed. So yeah, everyone's got the different focus. You're talking about different types of gamers. AZ. I've used the framing of we got homesteaders and we got nomads, and nomads will just move from place to place and pick it clean, and they'll pick every berry off the bush and then burn it down for firewood. Whereas the farmers, the homesteaders, they'll put up fences and they'll do the hard yards and the hard yakka to build something that's going to be there for their children and their grandchildren. And the nomads don't understand the farmers. Farmers understand the nomads and say, oh yeah, I can get the appeal of that. But nomads don't. They just can't comprehend that. And I had a conversation with a guy a couple of years ago now, probably 3 years ago, and it would have been around the time when there was a lot of hype around everything. And a guy came and just started hitting me with DMs and saying, tell me about this, and I'm just replying. And he ended up just completely frustrated and walking away, saying, this is ridiculous. I don't know what you guys are doing. Very condescending, because he's a nomad, right? So he's asking me questions like, how quickly can you pack up your house and move to the next valley? How much weight can your children carry? How many cows could you slaughter in a day? Because to him, it was ridiculous that I would be, how much dollar worth of assets would you have in the game? And I said, I'd probably, at the time, maybe $3 million worth, considering that the price of flesh golems and land and things were really booming. And I said, probably $3 million. He said, well, what are you pulling out a day? And I said, I don't take anything out, but if you'd say ROI, probably, I don't know, $15 a day in what these things are making me. And he was like, that's ridiculous, because as far as he's concerned, this is about to collapse at any moment. Why would I constantly risk $3 million when I could just liquidate that and walk and move on to the next thing? So to his mind, I was a lunatic, right? he could barely hide the condescension. And he would have moved from project to project, and I wish him well, good luck with that. But here we're building something different. We're actually building something that matters. And I think we do need to focus on ownership. You get your card, it's yours now. You don't need to buy it again. You don't need to rent it off somebody. Nobody can take it away from you. That's your card. It's not going to get scratched or damaged. It's not going to, as long as you keep your keys, it's not going to burn up in a house fire or go moldy in a basement with water damage. It's yours. And if we focus on ownership, I really think the people who are collectors and love to own things and love to collect things, that's where we win.
Thoughts? Matt,
So
with a
Yaba,
capital M?
what's happening? So we got that awkward pause. So I was trying to break that. So go ahead.
No,
It's solid. It's a solid opinion. Like that's one. You're in it for that. Like you said, the speculators who view this game as just like, how much can I make out of it, and soon, how quickly can I run off to the hills with my shekels? Yeah, that's another part. So yeah, no, look, I'm here for I view this as a game. It's just my perspective. I came into this as a game. Like, that's why I don't feel as hard done by. You know what I mean? I knew what I was in for. I know, okay, this space is fragile in a way, you know? So I'm happy that at least there's a game here. I can play for the game and not even focus about that stuff as much, you know, the other speculation part of the game. Yeah, I'm all good. Anyway, move on. Who else wants to take the floor?
From our
Matt,
perspective,
your Chrome camera's turned itself off again.
I was like,
yeah.
where's Matt? I was like talking to him. I was like, yeah, it's off.
Yeah, he's got a Chrome pad, and every now and then his webcam just turns itself off. So.
I used to worry a lot about all that stuff because I know so many of the player base worried about it and the tokens and the prices, and there was always, can we do this? And like there's ideas coming in all the time, like, oh, we could do this and this will help to pump the price and that'll help to pump the price. And I'm like, yeah, but we've done that. And then, it probably goes up a little bit for, a month, and then we're right back where we started, if not worse off. And then we wasted however much time doing whatever thing that lasted a month. You know what I mean? So part of it in the last few years was just like, forget all that nonsense. We have, the economy is structured correctly, right? That's the key. The key to the whole thing, in my opinion, is that all of the money goes to the DAO, right? And then the DAO pays us, the company, or whatever they want to do. But that's the whole general concept behind this thing that's very different and, still hard to get people to understand. It's a game, and when you buy stuff in the game, you're just paying the token holders, which could be you. Like, you will earn the token as you play the game. So you are like an owner of the game. And so the economy is all set up that way, right? Literally everything that is bought in the game, is either bought directly from other players, or the money goes to the DAO, and then the company gets a portion, for our development services. So that's, that took a long time to set up. Obviously, that was not, set up in the first few years. But now it's all set up and good to go. So from that point, then it's like, just build a cool product that people want to spend money on. That's like all it comes down to, in my opinion. So I'm forgetting about all the nonsense. I try to, nicely say no thank you to all the people that come to me with those type of opportunities, right? And I'm just like, it's basically back to what started the game, which was me and the other people in the organization thinking, wouldn't it be really cool if you could do this with your land assets? Or wouldn't it be really cool if there was a game format that worked like this? So that's the whole focus. And we're in the process of building a number of those things that a bunch of us thought would be really cool. And hopefully the rest of the community thinks that. And if that's the case, money comes into the game, and then that money goes, to the DAO and to the tokens and to the assets, not to the company directly. So that's what we're doing. Yeah.
It's come back full circle, back to the original reason why you did all this, started all, That's
100%. And then, the thing that... Go ahead.
Sorry. It must be frustrating when people come to you with this amazing, great idea they just have. It's like, you can't miss it. Did it.
And they get mad because they're like...
Simpsons did it. Simpsons did it.
Some people are nice, but some people are just like, they think this thing is it. And if we do this thing, SPS is going to moon and like whatever. And I'm just like, I know it's not, and I'm like, and then they get mad at me like, oh, you suck and whatever. And then I say, well, okay, make a SPS, a DAO proposal, right? That's the whole idea. And then they get pissed off. Well, no, it's just controlled by the whales. They don't do anything that's good. I'm like, no, I don't say this, but it's like, really, it's just not a good idea. Unfortunately, right? It's not that like this secret cabal of whales, like just sees this awesome, amazing idea, secret. And they're like,
"It's not secret,"
right? But that's what they think, right? There's these meetings, like we have these calls that we don't put on YouTube, where we say, "Well, this guy has this awesome idea that's going to make SPS moon, but we're not going to vote for that." Right? Yes. Like if there was actually some really good thing, and there was a proposal for it, like it would probably pass. It's just that it doesn't work like that.
So Matt, this, I get a lot of this heat, right? And I try to protect you guys quite a bit, as much as I can, so that, I receive the heat and you guys receive a little bit less heat. I mean, you still receive the heat. I mean, no matter what.
Well, I
And
send it to
I
Dave
think
now.
yeah, it's Dave now, right? So yeah, I mean, before Dave,
Yeah.
but I get a lot of this heat, right? So, and I try to nip it in the bud oftentimes. And then now we got a model going, pretty nice model. And that model is, okay, why don't you make a proposal? And they say, okay,
Hmm.
well, who is going to fund my 100,000 DC? I said, 100,000 DC is $65 right now. If you think you have this brilliant idea and you cannot raise $6 from 10 people, how do you think you are going to get 600 million SPS vote? That's typically the amount of vote that is needed to pass a proposal. It's simple arithmetic, right? So if you cannot get 10 people behind you to fund your proposal, and oftentimes I even offered, and I know you have offered,
I've offered.
like, yeah, I mean, we'll pay you the 100,000 DC. That's no problem. That's, that's nothing. But a lot of the times people don't realize that just because you have an idea, first of all, one, it's not a great idea. It doesn't mean just because you think it's a great idea, it is a great idea. One. And honestly, that doesn't matter that much, because if you cannot get people behind your idea, no matter how brilliant your idea is, there is no path forward because people are not behind it. And I think this is working much better now. I mean, there is still this kind of comes up like every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, somebody come up with something. But I think this model is now working much, much better than previously.
Especially for me, I have to say. I've said this before,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
but
Yeah,
before the proposal system, we were the gatekeepers for all the ideas. So
right.
it was like, we didn't do X, Y, and Z. It's because we're horrible and suck and, just want to take everybody's money somehow, or, whatever it
Yes.
is. Even though, yeah, whatever. But yeah, but I always said that, like, the proposal system is just so wonderful for me because I'm like, it's not up to me at all. Like,
Yes.
I don't, it doesn't matter what I think about anything. You put up your proposal, you get people on board, and we do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they can be mad at other people.
I mean, one of the things, as an observer of this, the system that you have kind of, orchestrated over the years, and the community has gotten behind and supported along the way, we've matured a huge amount from the very early days of the proposal system. And we were talking, we ran an episode yesterday with Keegs, who is, Matt, we hosted you about a month ago for Keegs' kind of initial DAO focused conversation, and he's a huge proponent for what the DAO can do, and he's got some cool fresh ideas about transparency and getting involvement and increasing the visibility on discussion. Bringing the secret cabal out of the shadows, so to speak, it doesn't really happen as far as I mean, sure, you guys have conversations, but it's not like those conversations aren't made privy to the rest of the community if they ask. But thinking about the whales and the predominant stakeholders in the SPS DAO, we have, I think, so, like, could we ask for a better group of individuals to be holding such a significant percentage of
Dude,
SPS?
I mean,
Like, seriously,
I have never seen, we are incredibly lucky considering just the quality of individual who's holding large assets.
seriously.
I mean, go look at any other, first of all, I do not know, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, I do not know existence of another DAO that has done this many decisions in this space for this length of time. There are other DAO exist right now in this space, but I am not aware of anything that is this long. That's number one, and has done this many decisions in a decentralized manner.
And
I,
and
I
then we
have
have
you?
so
I would
many.
add the breadth of those decisions too. Like it's not
Yes.
just economic, but it's gameplay, it's marketing, it's hiring, it's funding salary. Like it's all
Yeah.
encompassing across. The community and the DAO are we work together. We're mutual, which is
And we
amazing.
have there's so many people that vote and that care, right? I mean, even with like very small stakes, that's great that they care. Because I feel like that's the biggest problem. And I do know and am involved, in small parts with some other DAOs. Like the main thing is that nobody cares. There's like a very small group of whales and they care and they vote on the things. And that's that. And there's no controversy. There's really no difficulty because they just come up with what they want to do. I mean, they're the large stakeholders and like it's just very. I mean, it's even general like just voting in general. It's just like with voting for president or whatever it is. It's
Yeah.
just like the amount of people who care is less and less and less. People think their stuff doesn't matter. So I do like to see. I know Azercon, you kind of put people in their place in general if they don't have a ton of SPS, but I do like I like that small SPS holders are following this. They're in the discussions, they're talking about it, they're voting. I
Yeah.
want everyone to be a part of this. Because and we saw it with the Hive, with the Steam hostile takeover. It was like there was a push to get all the little small stakeholders that had,
Yes.
everyone reached out to everybody, if you weren't around for that, but we went out to everybody who had any Steam in their account and we got them all
Yes.
together and we ended up beating out Justin Sun and crew for a while there. So it's like when shit really hits the fan, if all the smaller stakeholders band together for a purpose, like stuff can really happen. So it's important that we
Yes.
have them and they're
Absolutely.
engaged.
And again, we have that experience, right? I reached out to every small stakeholder at that time to vote, and we voted, right? And now the goal is always that this is our process. So we have a process, just follow the process. It is important. I talk about, okay, create voting blocks. You do not have a lot of SPS. It's the same thing, just like, gather 10 people with $6, right, for your funding, which is the same way of saying, okay, organize a like-minded people who are willing to support your idea. That is the concept of voting block, right? That is the concept of voting block. So you may have 1 million SPS, but if you get 20 people with 1 million SPS, suddenly you have 20 million, and suddenly people are going to listen to you much more respectfully because 20 million SPS is a large chunk of vote money. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm imagining SPS political action committees.
Exactly.
Yes.
As I was going to say, it does represent like a democratic process, just
Yeah,
the
it's the
integrity of the
PAC.
blockchain.
It's the super PAC, PACs and super PACs.
Exactly.
It's not just vote weight though. The whales are human. They might see a proposal and say, "Oh, this seems like a good idea. Yeah, it all seems to work. Yes, I'll approve that. I'll vote yes." But if they then they come back a few days later and see that okay, it's still passing because they and themselves and their friends and whatever's it's part. But hang on, there's 4,500 people who've downvoted this. Maybe I'll go out and look for the counter arguments because it's clearly not popular amongst the rank and file.
I think
we
about
need
that.
Players.
Yeah.
The whales aren't going to say, "Well, I've got the stake, so I can push it through." No, they're humble people. They're good people.
No.
I love our whales.
I have no recollection that whales single-handedly pushed a particular proposal without community support. I mean, we have now run, I think, upward of 60 or 70 proposals. I mean, we have to go look at the count. I don't know how many, but we have run a lot now. And I don't remember a single one that is only like the top 5 whales voted one way and 100 smaller votes voted the other way. There is no such recollection that I have, and I have followed every single proposal. So this has never happened.
One of my favorite things is that, or not favorite things, but like one of the things that I always try to point to in that this is not some like rigged system is that I have had proposals that have failed, and the company
Yes.
that has had proposals that have failed. So it's not like one of these
Yes.
things where just like, again, it's the secret cabal and whatever they say
Yeah.
goes. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, what you have.
Yeah.
If it's not what people like, and early on there was a lot of like people within the company were like, are we allowed to vote? Like, what if Splinterlands puts up a proposal and Cryptomancer doesn't like it? I was like, no, that's not how this works. It's your stake. You vote how you want to vote. That's what this
Yeah.
is. That's what this is about. And it shows.
Yeah, and people voted one way, and then they have a discussion and they change their vote. Like I have done it. I know I have done it. I know other people have done it. So there are situations where, we were leaning heavily towards one direction, and then Brave Tofu, who is the largest stakeholder, who was aligned, but then realized that no, I mean, there is a significant outside influence, significant small contributors, but large number of people are wanting that. We should not do it. And we have these conversations, and this is no secret conversation. These are public conversations. And we have not seen a democratic system that is this transparent that I am experienced anywhere in the real life. I am part of many kind of political action committee, all the way from school boards. Like my daughters go to public school, and they have parent teacher organization who votes, and then to the county office, to the city office, to all the way up the chain to the national elections, right? So when we vote, and that's the way it works. And our system is probably the most transparent that I have ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we see numbers here, who's voted for, who's voted against. We don't get that information in the traditional way, right? Like they never give us any of that.
Yeah.
So, Buckcoins, welcome to the show. Popped on. Did you want to change your name there as well so people know who you are on the blockchain? Yeah. So, Buckcoins runs Hive Hub Guatemala, which is where I'm staying at the moment. Actually, I can quickly show you what it does look like here during the day.
Looks like you found
This is what it looks like here during the day. This would be my background if it wasn't actually dark. Great place. So yeah, Buckos, you want to introduce yourself? Tell people a little bit about what you do here?
I'm Buckcoins, and I'm also called Brian, as you saw in the name there. And yeah, I've been here in Guatemala for, I guess, 15 years or so. Been on the blockchain since September 2017, obviously first Steam, and then here. I kind of found it. I was exploring crypto, and I honestly was burnt out in my life, and I needed a creative outlet. And somebody told me there was like writing things, and so I decided to, if you look at my first like 50 posts, it's a lot of like weird poetry. I had no idea what this thing was, so I was just like I just like threw things that were creative at it. But yeah, so that's a bit who I am. I'm still here. This last summer, we did this pilot Hive Hub program, and several other Hivians came, and we made all of our room cards be like money that you could put on Hive, and then guests could spend the money just by topping up their card. Yeah, he's got one on him right now, so he can top up his room. Anybody's able to top up the room, but right now it's just me and Nina Eats here and Boba Fett. So we don't have that same like mass to push it at the people. It's like, it's like nice when you have like 4 or 5 people and everybody's like on the same page, and you're just kind of like making it fun. It's not that we can't make it fun, but it's just us two, and I'm not behind the desk much. So That's the truth of the matter. Anyways, that's my deal. I caught the tail end of that of Azakron, and I agree with much of it. But when I first came in, I thought for some reason it was a conversation about the democratic element of the DHF and value plan. That's where I thought you were, and so I would just like, add into that conversation that for me, we vote on the DHF, and that makes a lot of sense. The value plan inside of that DHF, I would like to see even more Hive democracy get involved in that.
Yes, I 100% agree. When I was talking about the DAO, I was talking about the Splinterland DAO. I was not talking about the Hive DHF. Hive DHF is actually much more centralized than Splinterland DAO. And, Yaba can comment on that also because, Yaba is a large stakeholder both in Splinterland and in Hive. But both Yaba and we are large stakeholder in Hive, but the distribution of Hive stake is more lopsided on the Hive side compared to Splinterland side. So I'm a statistician by profession, by schooling. So I look at distributions all day long. So, when I see a distribution, I can tell you.
Okay, so you were talking about the Splinterlands distribution. That's it. That's
Yes.
cool. That's cool.
Yes.
Nice.
And
Well,
even
good to hear.
I mean, I don't like how concentrated the Splinterlands is moving towards, as the price continues to stay low, it's letting Brave Tofu especially just keep snapping up more, and that's great. I myself also have increased my stake significantly. But I would like to see it be more spread out.
Yes.
I hope we can do that.
Yeah.
Go buy more SPS is the moral of that story.
Which is what I say always, right?
Yeah. But I also, and a lot of it is we talked about, like, I prefer not to focus on that message, right? I don't want people to buy more SPS. I want people to buy more stuff in the game, right? Like, because that will directly lead to more SPS being bought through arbitrage with the DEC, and everything, and just the DAO having more assets. So obviously it's great if, people want to buy SPS to promote the token, but I'm trying to say, if you want to put money in the game, put money in the game, buy cards, buy assets, whatever, do all these things. The way it's set up is pretty cool, in my opinion. That SPS will benefit indirectly from that.
So, Brian, what is it? Buckcoins, was it?
Yes. Sorry, you're a bit of a tease there, Yaba, because I know there's people playing a drinking game waiting for you to say flywheel, and twice you almost said flywheel.
I haven't heard that in ages.
I can picture them with their. I've got my tequila here. He's going to say flywheel. No, it didn't happen.
I've stopped saying it because it hasn't happened yet. That doesn't mean the mechanism isn't in place, but I feel like that's become, I don't know, one of these sort of like fluff marketing terms. And I don't want people to think that way. I want people to think, this is fun, this is cool, I like this game and this product, and buy stuff in the game. And I don't want to talk about like what happens as a result of that. We all know, but I'm trying not to focus on that, and I don't like that we focused on that as much as we did in the past. So that's why I haven't, and probably am not going to say it.
In the defense of the counter argument, I'm just going to say that at least the next round of cards, the next round of mini set is priced in SPS. So we are asking people to use SPS at a fixed price so that people buy SPS to buy the asset in the game. So it's one and the same thing in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, to be clear, it's not only priced in SPS, right? Right. Effectively, it's just a discount, a cheaper price.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, that's generally, it's like, I'm just saying, like, put assets into the game, right? So that's fine.
Yeah.
People want, hopefully people will buy the packs, right? That's what I want. And now we're, put a different way that they can get it for cheaper, which should hopefully help things out. But generally, the same concept applies. Like I want people to put money into the game and the game products.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the first 5 people to comment flywheel will receive a Chaos Legion pack each.
I never said that word. At least today. At least today.
So what's the like with one thing I've noticed? The price of Hive since I left Mexico just over a month ago has dropped about 5 cents, but the alts are copying it pretty bad. But no, SPS is actually, considering what's happening in the blockchain, SPS has been holding its own. Quite, I mean, we'd love to see $1 SPS again, but the price that it's been for the last few months, it hasn't been playing the same game as the alts. So that's got to mean something good, right?
Yeah.
I tend to think, it's moving toward just like one of these. It's not like a meme token necessarily, but a token that just like rides with the, ebb and flows of the market, like most of them, and more just becoming a token that is, based on the products of the game, right? So that's again how we're trying to set it up. Most other tokens don't have any real product or value behind them, other than the people buying and selling for whatever reasons. So this, hopefully is actually much more stable. And I've been very happy with like how stable DEC has been. I know people think like we've talked about it being like a stable coin, and like as compared to like USDC, obviously it's like very unstable. But really, like ever since we set that up properly after the whole SPS launch craziness, it's been between like 50 cents on the dollar and $1, and it's just stayed in that range up and down so it's been actually in crypto terms very stable through all sorts of different market cycles. And I've talked about this before. I haven't talked about it in a while. I think that's a really cool concept in itself. Like that, I think is a product just by itself, the whole like product backed stable coin that we have. There's just so many talks about, like asset-backed stable coins backed by treasuries or dollars or gold or whatever. And there's algorithmic stable coins that have all sorts of problems. But really, if like you look at the US dollar, what backs it is the fact that you can just buy stuff with it. So if there was some, places where you get cheaper US dollars, everyone would do that, which would bring the price, the market price of it back up, because then you can get cheaper stuff that you want. So that's what DEC is. It's like, people want stuff in Splinterlands, so the price never goes too low as long as people want stuff in Splinterlands. So it doesn't need an algorithm, it doesn't need any assets backing it, it's just products backing it. And it seems like to me that's like actually a whole third category of stable coins that could do really well, that no one's working on. And what I'd like to at some point do, if we ever have like time to start focusing on other things again, would be to try to get like DEC to be backed by other products, like have other, whether it's games or whatever it is, just kind of make that like a separate product that the Splinterlands DAO offers, is that people can just use this and price their things in DEC. And then we have to figure out, incentives or reasons for them to try it as a new thing. But I don't know. To me, that's like a whole separate product in itself that I'm surprised I still don't see being tried.
So, Matt, lately, sorry, Bob, Yaba, lately, what you have been working on these days? Is it guild stuff or is it something else?
You mean me personally or the team?
Yeah, you personally.
Yeah, so me, I focused on basically the high level spec designs, and then, just working with the team on getting everything implemented and making sure when you start with the high level spec designs, obviously there's like 100 little things that you get wrong or didn't think about. So then that's the way I tell people, internally, like that's the way I know when when like real work has started on a project, it's like everyone starts sending me a million questions. Well, what about this doesn't make sense, and why are you doing it like this, and whatever. So right now we're like deep in the player avatar project, which I've hinted at is going to be much bigger than just creating a cool looking avatar that represents yourself, but that will be a big part of it. So we definitely want to have that out before the end of the year. So that is going to be really cool. And again, it's just like what we're doing with it is going to be something that we're going to start building into other aspects of the game, including, and then the next big project is going to be the guild overhaul, which we're going to wrap in the whole player avatar thing into it. So yeah, guild overhaul has been needed forever, and we just haven't gotten to it. So I have a really good general concept for it, especially the guild brawls, and how your kind of player avatar is going to be related to all that. So I work on, for the avatar project, I'm working on with everybody on all the little details, getting those set. And then I'm high level designing the guild stuff, and then also high level designing the next stuff for land. You'd probably like to hear that, Matt. Cryptomancer should be done with the whole land card thing soon, within a month. And then, yeah, and unfortunately, that stuff's taken a lot longer than I would have liked, for various reasons. I guess that's true of like most everything. But then I really want to just start getting into Land 2.0, just like all the stuff, all the other resources, all the buildings, all like once, we kind of have the framework now, so it's like shouldn't hopefully be a massive project to just start adding more of this stuff. We're gonna probably have to like have a UI overhaul on the site to make it support all the different things, but I know Nate and the team are working on that. But like, I'm just dying to start getting all that going, and have people start really having to think about and plan their land out. There's going to be all sorts of different buildings and things you can do. Hopefully, even Matt over there might not have quite enough to do everything themselves. Like I still do everything on land, right? I don't need to buy stuff on the market. I produce all the stuff that I need. I don't want that to be the case, and we have it like ready with so many different things. And because once that happens, that even like the bigger players can't produce everything that they need, everyone starts having to specialize, which is good. And so they specialize in whatever it is, and then you trade whatever you produce for whatever you need. And then that trading brings a lot of volume to the market, which gets everyone to need to put up more liquidity, which requires DEC.
Right.
What I'm going towards is a certain spinny type of word that I'm not going to say. But
Right.
yeah, so that's what I'm working on. Like I literally have it up on my other monitor here of like, and I'm gonna, me and Dave have been
Yeah.
talking about how we can get Cryptomancer maybe some help internally, or whatever, because we got to get this moving a little faster.
Yes. And it's already there for most people. Like I own a full region and I do not produce everything. So I have to buy things. And I want to be able to buy more things, right? Because that's what makes the economy moving, right? If that's create the demand. Right now, the demand is low for different land products because you still have oversupply of almost every land product, right?
Yeah.
And even if I do not produce them all, it's not really affecting my gameplay yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I want it to affect my gameplay. It needs to be so desirable that I really need that other thing. So I need to sell this thing to get that other thing, or I need to put additional money to get that other thing. And that other thing needs to be very desirable, whatever that other thing is.
Right. So the other thing, we've started to do this with the artisan quarter, right? All the stuff you kind of need in the game is going to be craftable through land. And then we have it set up in such a way that like you don't have to know anything about land or whatever. You can still buy it with credits or DEC. But again, behind the scenes, you're just buying it from people who crafted it on land. So that to me is like sort of the holy grail of this, like all the money coming into the game goes out to the players. But it's not it's not like, oh man, if I want to get a fortune ticket, I have to now go buy a plot and put cards on and do it. No, it's just like anything else. You just take your DEC or your credits and you click a button, poof, it's in your account. So
Yes.
all that stuff, but all that stuff, right, in my opinion, is very easy to make right now.
Yes.
So we wanted that to be more involved, I think,
Right.
where you have to have more buildings. You need to have storage for your resources, and you need to manage all that stuff. And then we're going to have the buildings, be able to be upgraded, right? Right now, there's just the work sites, which don't really cost anything. But to build an actual building, you're going to need all the different regular resources. So it's, that's how I see the whole thing. So land is going to be this kind of big thing where everyone's going to have to specialize based on what type of land they have and the resources they have available. They're going to have to get what they can, trade for the rest, upgrade their buildings, manage which buildings they want on their plots for what they want to do. And then ultimately, at the end of the day, some people are going to choose to craft with their buildings. They're going to create the end products and they're going to put them on the market. And then everyone who plays the game is just going to buy them because people buy stuff in the game. So we're going to I know the end goal is like the item and spell cards, but we're going to try to add as much as we can in there until we get to that point. So that's what's happening. People play the game, they buy stuff. They're basically buying it from people who have crafted it on land, and those people who are crafting it, need all these, input resources that they're getting from other people on land. It's this whole big circular economy.
Right.
Is there an example of that outside of the web space, like
the economy?
An ideology? I mean, but we don't have a system that works like that at all. And we've tried various I'm talking like, and from a government economy type thing. I mean, even the concept of the DAO originally just blew my mind. But this whole circular economy, like where everyone's getting something from everyone, the existing economy that we have in our countries is just all about taking.
Depends, right? It's still, the world still spins, right? The world economy still spins. It may not spin the way we ideally like, but that again depends on, we are one individual. You, Bob, are one individual. It may not spin the way to your liking, but it spins nonetheless.
It might not spin at all.
Yeah, but it is spinning. I can guarantee you it is spinning. The world economy is spinning.
Yeah, it's modeled after the general, how general economies work, right?
Yes.
People, they're farmers and they farm stuff and then they sell it to mills that turn it into, some type of edible food, and they send it to supermarkets and then they sell it to you. And it's the whole, a whole process like that. So
do you guys have any like natural disasters, like some random thing that happened, like just like
nice.
like a hurricane just like hits your land and you're like, damn it, or like
we can do that.
Or like
we don't yet have all the stuff I've been talking about. That we're in the process of building all
or
that.
a fire, or somebody sets
or
your
rain.
shit on fire. Somebody comes and
yeah.
attacks your place, sets your shit on fire, and you can't build anything.
Yeah.
So I would
we don't have that.
I would personally like to avoid like random shit that screws people over.
You gotta have a
There's enough of that in life.
That's life, though. That's the real life, right there.
Well, yeah, but we have life. So the game is supposed to be fun.
We have life. Good one.
Yeah, we already have that shit to deal with. So yeah, I prefer to have less like randomness in the game. But I would like to have, all sorts of different things, that sort of mimic, I guess not mimic that type of stuff, but like, I would like to have at least where like people can, war with each other. And a lot of stuff we're planning to do with guild brawls, I want to bring into land, but I also don't want it to be a thing where like, if I attack you, I'm like taking your stuff. But something where there's like other reward pools. See, we have the luxury of being able to like kind of come up with any new assets and new things for different areas of the game that we want. I would very much like to expand on what we're planning to do for guild brawls, also for like land type of brawls where I could go attack someone else's, everyone maybe gets like some amount of resources, some like special resource that is like available in their area or their territories or their plots, and they are responsible for defending it, right? And other people can attack them, but they're not going to lose their other stuff that they've bought or put up money for. But it's like this one special thing that's for that purpose. So they defend their stuff. People can attack it. They can attack back with different rules, obviously, to try to make it fair. But that's I guess in my mind at least, what I'd like to do. And that's very similar also to what I'm thinking for the new guild brawls, is like basically the guilds have these resources, and they need to defend them from other guilds in their tier, which I think will just be more like fun and more collaborative than right now. It's like, okay, everyone just kind of takes their slot, fights their battles, that's it. I want it to be like kind of more collaborative, where it's like, we need this type of defense, and like you're going to do this and you're going to do that, and what, like, you got to work together a little bit more.
Cool.
Especially with resources, like people can get really upset. They've worked towards and built something, and someone else just takes it. It's like, I paid money for that, and rage quit. They're gone.
So, I don't like that either.
Yeah.
But like you said, instead of taking, there could be like another reward incentive or something else to drive that along for people to want to do that.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But I don't plan for natural disasters.
Big mistake. Big mistake. Gotta have a hurricane.
There is space. There's space between regions, though, right?
Yeah.
The space between regions. So if I go march on Cryptomancer and do some damage over there, maybe I don't take what he has, but on the way back, I find a relic or I find whatever else. So we have a lot of opportunity in the game to decide what happens between those regions, right? So I don't need to necessarily take from him in order to come back with more than what I left if I've properly set up my, call it a diplomatic delegation or something like that, where maybe there's not even an attack on him, but there's a nearby region. I'm going to send a whole lot of people over there and see what they come back with.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is like we have the opportunity to create new things as sort of like reward pools for these, rather than just like taking existing assets from people, create new types of things and reward pools that people can fight over.
Yeah, before you were talking about like the land economy and to get the trading, to ramp that up. And yeah, I guess at some point, once it's all built up, the next step would be to make it more accessible, so people can understand, newbies, so there's a barrier of entry there, or a easier barrier of entry where people can start and build up. And I guess over time that should be like a well-oiled system where there's a lot of trading going on, a lot of all that e-commerce stuff. Yeah, that'd be cool.
And for the barrier of entry thing, one thing I think I didn't think about properly for a long time is a lot of people would complain that like stuff is too complicated, there's too many assets, too many tokens. I now believe the opposite. Like, I think that's what makes this fun, right? That's what the whole, at least for the land game, right? That's what it's about. Like having a bunch of different things and having to learn them and understand them, and like that's the game of it. And so, we need to do a good job of explaining all that and having resources for people to be able to learn about it. But I want to go, I think the Land 2.0 white paper is already, somewhat ambitious in that, and I want to even go more. Like, there's just so many different resources and so many different things you can do. And that's part of the fun, is like, let me try and go into this thing, and like, oh, this market, there's not a lot of people producing these type of things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go do that, or I'm going to buy, some plots that are for sale cheap and get into this market. Sort of
so
like
land
ordering
is like
flesh
your
golems.
version. Oh, sorry, but your land version is like hardcore mode for the one who really wants to get into it and
that's the type of game it is, right? We have the trading card game, right? That's cool for some people. But like land is a resource management game, and it's not fun if there's not a lot of resources. Like,
And,
I don't know
and
how else to
that's
put it.
fine. And even for the long-standing trading card games, like, I played Pokemon all my life, like since the game is launched, and it is a trading card game. And it is not, if you think about Magic and other stuff, Darkwing, uh, Pokemon, it is a pure battle, like turn on turn battle game, but it doesn't have land behind it, but there is a breeding economy of Pokemon behind it that is very complicated and that is very deep, and it is going on for 27 years. And there are people out there that are 100% focused on not playing the trading card game itself, but they just focus on competitive breeding, and they sell those products, those are Pokemon products, to competitors, and those competitors buy those products from these people, and they play. So in a way, these breeders, they're playing a completely different game. They are not playing the Pokemon game itself. They are just breeding products, which is, in my mind, that is what land equivalent to the Pokemon game. And that economy is going on for 27 years. And it's one of the most popular product on the planet.
All right, so land's not for just mainly everyone, but for someone who's really it's
Right.
a particular part of the game that's for a particular mindset or someone who wants to get.
Right.
Yeah, okay, got
And
you.
you don't have to. That's what I was saying earlier. You don't have to participate in land at all to do anything with the rest of the game. You can just buy the stuff very easily through the shop. But behind the scenes, you're not paying the company or even the DAO. You're paying people who created the stuff using their land. So that's what's so cool about it. So hopefully we'll have lots of people coming in, playing the game, enjoying it, buying all this stuff, and they might not even realize that like all the money they're spending is going to all these landholders.
Right.
Well, as long as there's no like blockage there, translates to just a general player. I guess that'd be completely fine then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's as
absolutely.
easy as buying anything else, right? You
Yeah.
have your tokens, you spend them.
Okay, cool.
Is this
I'm just-
Terraria?
Yeah, Terraria, I play it a lot, and I'm just when you're talking about the different resources. So this is, I think, the most complex weapon in the game to get, the Zenith. But you can see here these are all of the different swords and inputs and different crafting stations that you need to craft each of the inputs. And the Terraspark boots are similar, and so it's a really fun game, and it's one of the best sellers really ever on the bestseller list. But if you can see that crafting table there is just so much that goes into this. And people know this by heart. Then, if they want potions, you can have 5 or 6 ingredients in a potion. Some you got to go fishing for. You go fishing, pull up a fish, and then you can put that in that potion, and then you can use that in that boss fight. So absolutely, there is no reason that gamers can't handle a whole lot of inputs into what they want to do and what they want to achieve. And that's
not
the fun
only
of
can
the
they
game.
handle it, it makes it. That's what the fun of it is, right?
Right.
And I mean, we have the whole flow chart, already for Land 2.0, which, I played a lot of Terraria. I don't know if that subconsciously got in there. But yeah, our flow chart is similar in concepts to that. And I want to expand on it.
So I'm curious, I actually just getting a message from my wife. They're getting ready for dinner with the kids. So I've got kids. They're the bomb kids here on Hive. And like, if they sit around playing Roblox every night and they're playing these games, like what is I guess my question is like, what's they already have a Hive account. They already could join this. Is this going to be fun for them? If I hey, you guys should go join. Is there like a noob camp or any other kids playing? Is there like how you were talking about the card game? Is that the place they start, or is this just too complicated for a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old?
I would definitely start with the card game. I mean, that's the main game. I mean, I have a son who's 13 who's played Splinterlands for a number of years. Was able to, do just fine on his own. I also say, though, a lot of people I talk to generally just immediately think this is a kids thing. I say it's not geared towards kids, so they can certainly play. They probably have a good time. And I'm sure they'd be able to pick up the game and play it. But it's geared toward big kids, I would say. But you consider myself, like, you see my Magic the Gathering card collection behind my head. So it is, you know, it's supposed to be a fun game, but also one of the things that I really like is the whole economic aspect around it. So generally, a lot of it involves like money, and planning all this stuff out, what to buy, how to buy it, all this stuff. So I generally have found that kids aren't as into that as adults, who are into this type of stuff when they were kids. But there's no reason that they can't jump in and give it a try.
And
Well, I think that sorry to cut you off there, Buckcoins. There is a recently added game mode, Frontier, that I think actually serves as a really solid entry point for, I think back to my early days of Magic the Gathering, or, early trading card games. It's not overly complicated. The pool of items or cards to be selected is smaller, and it's a little bit more, input A plus input B equals output C sort of thing. There isn't the depth of complexity that exists in other aspects of the game. So I think as far as, brand new players, whether you're a kid, a teenager, a young adult, I think Frontier mode actually serves as a great entry point platform for folks, just to, is a trading card game, is a tabletop, card game my cup of tea. And I think Frontier mode does a really good job of kind of putting that in front of potential customers and answering that question for them. So I would say Frontier mode is actually where I would suggest. It's free to play.
Oh, yeah.
You can earn cards for free. You can battle pretty much to your heart's desire for free. So there's no consequence if you're losing, other than maybe some broken keyboards or flying mice. But generally, that's where my primary suggestion would be for brand new folks to either Splinterlands or trading card games in general.
And so
I forgot about
the
it.
game offer like little moments of hey, if you're new to the game, we're all going to be playing at this time. Like, is there like workshops?
We have
for new
some of
players?
that. We have some of that. I have a 14-year-old myself, and daughter, and she has played Splinterland for a number of years. The problem is, after you play it a little bit, and Matt can comment on this as well, Yaba. After they play for a little bit, they learn the thing. They get bored, because what we don't have, that almost all trading card games do have, is a story mode, right? We do not have a lengthy enough story mode. It's essentially peer-to-peer battle. That is our main mode. We have started doing a little bit of a story mode, but we do not have a boss fight that you go up through stages, and then you go to a final boss and you beat the boss, that kind of thing. Any standard game, we have all played these games. So that's the difference. So they get the retention after a little bit is low, because Matt is correct. They are not still into the money part of it, and that's, I think, the issue with that.
Yeah, I mean, campaign mode is just one of the many things on our to-do list. Like, just wish we had more and more developers and designers to do all these things. But I agree that like single player campaign mode will be super fun and just have like more content. Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I think also a lot of things with kids is really, it's just all about what the other kids are doing.
Exactly.
So I think Roblox kind of really sucks, but just like all the kids are playing it. So you play what all your friends are playing, and obviously we're not marketing towards kids. It's not our core audience, for a number of reasons. So if
More into like dying audiences? Like old
Was it-
people?
Older audience.
Why
Old
aren't you going
people.
for kids, man? They seem like I would be like you need the
Yeah.
the freshies.
And they hound their parents. Oh, need this. I need this. Okay,
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
my card.
Yeah. 6'7", 6'7".
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, so I'd say kids are not the only viable audience at all. So, so
But yeah,
all of
Jack-
us on the call are pretty
Yeah.
much like target audience. That's different, and I do like to be very specific. I mean, sometimes people talk about like, oh, you got to go after these people, you got to go after these people, you got to go after, like, you basically got to go after everything, and I don't think that works. I think you need to really define your audience very well and go after them very specifically, or you're just not going to work for anybody. So, honestly, like I built the thing because it was the game that I wanted to play. That's really all it was. And so I'm trying to keep the focus on that. There's a bunch of nerds like me out there. A lot of them are on this call. So I'm just like, focus on that. And it's different. It's different than what my 13-year-old wants, and that's okay. I think campaign mode, the story mode that Azarcon was talking about, is going to be awesome for anybody.
I want to piggyback off of Bejangles. You're right, Bejangles. Frontier is the best base for beginners.
Mhm.
Would be the best base for you guys to develop on, to add in that campaign for newbies there. I think that would be the outlet to get people who don't know nothing about this onto the game. I think that would be the best the best start.
Yeah, that's what Frontier mode is. I mean, that's what it's
Yeah.
called, Frontier mode.
Yeah, but that's what I
you
mean.
know.
I completely forgot about Frontier because of how much things have happened.
Yeah.
Like me playing the game, even I was like, "Oh, there is a Frontier mode." And Bejangles, he brought that to my attention.
Yeah. And
It's
so,
like,
yeah, campaign mode is I mean, it's a separate thing from Frontier, and we'd like to build that out also.
Yeah.
It's just like a different thing that you can do, with
Mhm.
potentially like weekly challenges, and hopefully the guild stuff will be a lot more engaging also soon. I don't know what else do you guys want to talk about. I got maybe like 30 minutes left before I gotta jump.
Yeah. I actually probably have even less. So,
Okay.
Bob, it is up to you. It's your show.
I was wondering, is any chance of dropping a little alpha or on something that's come around the corner? People always like that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the stuff I was talking about the guild brawls, and definitely the land stuff. I mean, I guess we've said like we're going to do land 2.0, but the plan is to really get into the meat of it, the buildings, the upgrading, more resources, the crafting of more and more things in the game. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to reveal too much. I've talked a bunch about the avatar system being more than just cool pictures to represent you in the game, and integrating that into other areas of the game. I think some people have kind of guessed right around what we're trying to do there. But I don't, I guess in the past I would just come on and say whatever I felt like saying, but now we have, Blaze and Dave, and they have plans and marketing things. So I don't want to spoil any of
Step on their
that.
toes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
this is the stuff that's coming up. I've mentioned the new guild brawls is going to be a pretty different and exciting mode. I kind of talked about that a little bit of, having a guild treasury or something in a way that the guild is tasked of defending against the other guilds. So a little different way of doing battles where the guild sets up their defense ahead of time, and then other guilds can see that defense and figure out how to attack it, which I think is going to be pretty neat and different. So I'd say that's some alpha right there. I haven't talked about that really in detail yet.
Like
So
another
if
bit of alpha you dropped is incoming natural disasters on land. That was my takeaway.
No, that he specifically said that he doesn't want that, right? So do not spread rumors.
I mean, other things have happened that I have specifically not wanted or have come around to. Maybe as long as we make, someone can set up an insurance business, right? So
Oh my
you just have
God.
to make sure you have insurance for your plots.
I feel like the natural evolution of the cabal is the Praetorian insurance provider.
Yeah,
Oh my
right.
God.
Gotta protect
As
your
if
racket.
that we don't have enough trouble already.
Um,
Is this
Hey,
just
Matt,
a
I have one question to ask you, and this is not necessarily, I mean, this is nothing to do with Splinterland, but I mean, I am curious about your thought on, no, you talked about this, stable coins and product-based stable coin, and HBD in Hive is sort of an algorithmic stablecoin, which is another type. Um, so what's your current thought? Like, are you listening to what's happening around there? And with the hard fork coming and the interest rate, the HBD savings interest rate discussion, I'm just trying to understand what's your thought on HBD. And let you speak about it if you have any opinion.
yeah, I mean it is. I guess I guess it's an algorithm. I mean, I don't know if it's algorithmic or it's just backed by Hive, but it's
It's backed by Hive,
yeah. I
so
mean,
it's
right. So
backed by
it still falls into the same camps of other stable coins. Obviously, it doesn't have some of the issues of like Terra and Luna because it has
right.
it will decouple and depeg. Um, I don't know that I would be super comfortable like putting tons of money into HBD. I know it's worked well for a long time, but it's also been small. So a lot of things, problems only come out when things grow really, really
Right.
large. But to me, I also don't see it as being anything super different in the way that I see DEC being. Like I think
Mhm.
that's like a whole separate class in itself. And as far as like interest rate, like I don't know. I don't think anyone knows. Is there a
Yeah.
right interest rate? Should it be higher? Should it be lower? Um, obviously we want more people to buy and stake HBD. We want more people to buy and stake Hive. I'm not sure also that futzing with the interest rate is going to change any of that. It's sort of like the
Mhm.
same thing we've looked at with Splinterlands over the years, and we talked about earlier on the call. Like you can go and do mess around with all the tokenomics here and there, and maybe it gets a little pump or some people to shift some things around in the short term. But ultimately, like I think the same thing with Hive that I think with Splinterlands is stop worrying about all that nonsense and just build products that people want. I mean, that's it.
Agree.
Like build
Yeah.
stuff on Hive that people want, and they're like, I'm gonna put money into this. Stop trying to like
Yeah.
finagle everything around to see if like people are gonna, just try to arbitrage stuff or whatnot. And Hive it's a obviously there's the social networking component, and so can we build things like threads and X competitors and stuff like that. That's one great thing. And then there's the thing that Splinterlands is doing. Like, how do we just get cool apps on Hive? And people who use those apps don't even have to know that it's on Hive. And that's the type of stuff I'd love to see. We talked about the DHF a little bit. That's the type of stuff I'd love to see the DHF do more. I mean, I see the
Yes.
DHF as like I think it should be more of like a venture capital company, right? I think it's incredibly, incredibly difficult. Like if I came in and I like had an app idea and a little team or whatever, and I wanted to build an app and I wanted to get some funding for it, like ain't no way that's going to happen unless I'm best friends with block trades. To
Yes.
to be honest, but
And
so but
you remember when we got our funding, how hard
yeah,
we had to
like if it
push
was that
it.
hard for us, like ain't no one else gonna be able to do it. And
Yeah.
and I
Right.
I think and I get it because I think a lot of dumb stuff has been funded. I think money's been poorly used, and I think people are once burned, twice shy, or whatever the saying is. Like they're
Yes.
rightly like let's be careful what we do. But if I was to be like CEO of Hive for a day, I would say let's shift the mindset, or whether it's something like a value plan where a bunch of funds are put into thing, and like run a venture capital company where you just take a bunch of funds, you go out and you find a bunch of products that you want to kickstart and support with the understanding that probably the vast majority of them are going to fail. But it's you go out there and you try to get, like, if you don't take any shots, you're not going to have anything hit, right? So let's take a whole bunch of shots, as many as we reasonably can. Let's try to go out and fund 100 different teams, 100 different apps to just go build it in the hopes that one of them actually hits it.
Yes.
So that's my thinking on that.
Yeah, that messaging unfortunately is missing. If you look at the Hive DHF, and I am in complete agreement with you there, and I have my long-standing harp against it. But apparently, a lot of the things that we currently fund are either core products, core blockchain products, or these are these strange value plan things which Bitcoin kind of touched on. Funding random things in Venezuela, drilling wells in Ghana, and we have done that. I do not want to get into the rally car. We have done that, and they seem to be random and seem to be doesn't give us any kind of outcome. There is no way to measure it. How do I measure success? I put in some of my money into drilling wells in Ghana or supporting a rally car. How do I measure success? Right? There is no way for me or anyone to measure success, that if this venture is successful or not. So that's my issue with that also.
Yeah, and I mean,
there's no accountability for people who are receiving the funds.
Yeah, that is the other part. There is very limited accountability.
I I got like a one little thing that for me that I would just like to see is more like, why does it have to be such huge budgets? Like, we're a blockchain full of lots of people. And if imagine if it was quite easy to get your first 100 or 200 HBD little kind of fun to be able to like have a meetup and to have a couple prizes at the meetup and to generate on a local level, like introducing of Hive. And then if people actually get that money and then they document it and they show it and you see, oh, 5 new people joined Hive because of that, then like maybe they get legged up into they could apply for a bigger thing that was like a hackathon for 500. It doesn't matter. I just don't see why it needs to be such high amounts of money. Like,
no, it
like
doesn't have to be.
Grassroots.
It doesn't have to be.
For way less money, we could get so much done in just little.
But they say, and this is a little bit on us too. So if you actually have a project in mind that is a small money micro project, let's say, if you have a micro project in mind, you should be writing a proposal. You should be writing a proposal for that micro project and get it out in front of the community. I think you should totally do that. And that is
just to be clear, like what I'm saying is the use of value plan, that I would like to see value plan have like, okay, they have a 10,000 Q budget and people can apply for these little SOS grants, these like little cheap things. And value plan has a mini council. It's not like one guy making the decisions. It's a little council and like, so people made the proposal. I want to do this like fundraiser. I want to do a meetup. I want to do a competition. Whatever the idea is, those little ones aren't so hard to get. And then if those people prove that they can, then they would be more eligible for a later thing. And for a very small amount of money, you could potentially spark a lot. So I don't disagree with what Yabama is saying. I actually think it's a great idea to go after hyper specific maybe projects that are more in this 5 to 15 to 20,000. But the problem is, man, these projects are like 50, 70, 100 to 150. We just don't have that kind of money to be thrown around, like in my opinion. But that's who the fuck am I? I'm just Buckcoin, so never mind.
Nice, nice.
I think that would be a good use of value plan. Like, I don't think it makes sense for all those little things to have to like do a DHF proposal and deal with all
Right.
that. But that's what like something like a value plan has funds available, and then they make it much easier for the little projects to go and get those funds for different things. I mean, that totally makes sense. And I think that could be done. It's not like a one or the other, right? We could do all these things. We have that for like the small meetups and little projects. You try to grow grassroots that way. And then you could also have a separate fund that tries to be like a VC fund and fund big projects. Because I also think like, there's only so much, like it's like go big or go home, right? You gotta really take some big shots if you want to have big success. Like we're
Right.
probably not going to blow up in a good way from having a bunch of people throw some meetups for $200 around the world. I think it's a great thing and we should do it, but we also at the same time have to go out and try to make something big happen.
Yeah, yeah. And I think there is precedence of both. That is the ultimate purpose of value plan. But how value plans funding, who gets the value plans funding is decided is not very clear to me and to a lot of people. Right. So there are actually smaller proposal that has been written and has been successfully funded. Just the thing is, like you mentioned it one time, Yaba, that I don't necessarily have to know block trade every time, right? For such a thing, right? Marky recently, I'm not endorsing Marky's project, but Marky recently wrote a very low value proposal that got funded, which is called Hive Analytics. I supported it. I don't know, Matt, if you supported it or not, but it got funded, and it's a small value DHF. He just wanted to do it, and he has a product. The product looks nice, and it's a very low value amount, like one DHF proposal, and he did. So there has been precedence for small dollar value proposals that are successful, and I think we should do all of this. We should approach value plan for small meetup and things like that, and we can also do small dollar value projects as a direct proposal, and it should not be hard. I mean, I remember like when we did the Splinterland proposal, how hard it was. I mean, I have spent tens of thousands of line on Discord messages to get that proposal funded. Me, Lord Butterfly, you remember how many people we reached out to, Matt, and how many meetings we have set up. We had they call me Dan, Star Cards, have set up a meeting with you and all of that stuff. And it should not be that hard. It should not be that hard for a proposal like that. So, anyways.
So what's had the most success in the gameplay so far with Frontier mode, the land cards coming out, campaign mode? What's brought in the most new players? What's been the most successful?
Well, I
Good
mean,
question.
yeah, I mean those type of things don't bring in the players, right? So that's once the players have come in, what I mean, and Frontier. I mean, obviously the land stuff is not geared toward new players at all, so that's not really part of it. And so campaign mode is really just our tutorial at this point. So
Yeah.
we're still like we just kind of go through that constantly and just see where the drop off is at every step of the way. So it's like campaign mode, tutorial, then into frontier mode, and then hopefully into other modes. So it's not like one of those things is the thing that's doing it, they kind of all work together, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
All right, so in wrapping up then, if we go around the Brady Bunch sort of square clockwise, Bejangles, anything to wrap up with? Anything you want to say?
No, I just want to call out the 200 landmark episode again. I love tuning into Splinterlands 101 each week. I actually think 202 should probably be, like the common denominator there. That should be the big monumental episode. But yeah, I'm just happy to be here. Happy to tune in every week. I love what you guys contribute to the community, and yeah, keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you. Gio, anything you want to add before we
I do.
disappear
I just
into
want
the
to
ether?
thank everyone. Yeah, who's on. Just thank you. I'm blessed to converse with you guys, to hear you guys' thoughts, your opinions, everything. And Matt, keep doing what you're doing. It's beautiful. I feel like things are strengthening and not weakening, like good systems should, over time. So yeah, just do what you do, man. Just all the noise, forget about it. That's it. We move on. Thank
What
you.
we're doing, thank you.
Azakon?
Yeah, well, again, I would echo that. Congratulations on the 200. Recently you have done a very decent power up of Hive. That was, I know I pushed you on that, and I always push people. That's why they like me. So congratulations on that. Also,
Yeah.
I hope I am here for the 300 and the 400. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Yava, anything in closing or?
I don't know. I mean, just like taking a step back and thinking of it like, from just sitting down and being like, we want to try to make a game. I've made, I've been a game developer for a long time, and I've made my own games here and there, and just as side projects or whatever. And this to me was like another one of those, like little side project I do for a while. And the fact that like now, I'm talking with you guys, and it's like your 200th episode. Almost 4 years of just talking about this product. We're coming up. It's our 8th year of doing it. Like, just kind of crazy. I haven't had a normal job in that time, and I get to sit here and talk to you guys about land and guild cards and whatnot. That's my going to work. Yeah, we got an argument about how much DEC this thing should cost or whatever. Like, I don't know. It's cool. I feel like sometimes my job here is like also it's like just I don't know, babysitter is the right word, but everyone working for Splinterlands, they're just so invested in this, and they just get like very heated on like what this thing should be called or how this thing should work. And sometimes I gotta be like, all right, we're just like, it's not that important. It'll be fine. Like, you got to pick one and go on with it. But just the fact that like there's so many people that are just so into this stuff is awesome, and then the fact that it actually like positively affects people's lives is double awesome. So I don't know. That's what I take from all this. Like, it's just I get into the weeds a lot too. Like, me and Dave will be arguing, like, no, we got to sell this for this, or like this is too much, and like these players are gonna not like it. And then I like take a step back and just try to appreciate the coolness of all that. So thank you for making me realize that once again.
Thank you. Matt, Two Castles?
Yeah, cheers. I'm excited for the land cards and also Cinder as a mechanism. And I think, looking through the tokenomics of it, it's again, yeah, but it's got your fingerprints all over it. I've said this before, and I'll keep saying it. Through the early stages of the game, in particular, when it was all being designed, I would really rack my brain and think, oh, what's the problem that's coming up? Where's the next drama or problem? And I would be on the cusp often of reaching out to you and saying, oh, I'm worried about this thing. And then there would be an announcement, and it would be here's this new thing we're rolling out, and it would very delicately and eloquently, and in a better manner than my suggestion was going to be, would solve that problem that I saw on the horizon. And it's subtle, but it is really there. That I have seen time and time again a level of intellect from you, and the kind of introspection that you can't fake. And I've seen that from you over and over again. And obviously, it's no secret that you and Aggie were a team, and you were the guy talking to the code, and he was the guy talking to the people, and obviously we all know what happened there. But I think my concern was always, are we going to be able to keep the player base? It was never, is the tokenomics going to be poorly designed from now on, now that Yab is running things? Because I keep seeing this, and I like to think that I'm quite smart, but I'm smart enough to recognize when somebody's like leagues ahead of me. And I think, in all honesty, your heart for the game, your love for the community, and your capacity to think these things through and then really come up with a solution it doesn't even look like a solution. It just looks like a new feature. And yet it actually solves this problem that I saw on the horizon. So I just want to take a moment to really praise your devotion to the game, but also your blistering intellect. I've said a few times, it's going to be awkward because when I meet you in person, I am going to grip you by the head and kiss you on the head, because that is an exquisite brain in there. It really is.
I guess it's good that I know that ahead of time. I can prepare for it. Thank you. That I really appreciate that. I do want to point out that there's other people involved, and a lot of times I start with things, and then we go through the team, and everyone gives their feedback, and what you guys end up seeing is changed a lot. So sometimes it's not even my ideas to start with. So I can't take credit for all of it. But thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you feel that way.
All right. And Buckcoins, for someone who's incredibly active and always has been active in the Hive community, but not involved, knows nothing about Splinterlands, what's your takeaway from what you've heard and listened to today?
Well, yeah, I want to thank everybody for inviting me into your little Splinterlands club. It was very, very cool to be here. I feel
Your mic.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, now good. Now better.
Now you muted.
Now you muted it.
You are muted. There is no sound now. Now sound's completely gone. I completely messed up. Shouldn't have said that.
There's sound now.
Oh, you're back now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be very still, and I'll speak in a very still way. So I was just saying thanks for letting me feel welcome here in you guys' chat, and I feel honored to be the location where the 200th episode is. Thanks, Baba, for coming by and visiting. Whenever you guys want to have a Splinterlands real location to meet, and you want to go on a vacation, you're all welcome here. We sleep 50 people here. It's right on the side of a beautiful lake. Everybody's always welcome. And yeah, it sounds super fun. I'm not much of a gamer myself, but as I was listening, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get my son and we'll try to figure out Frontierland together. Maybe we'll make a new account and just it'll be like our little I was just like, my brain was like, well, I'd see what it was all about. So you guys, your excitement got me thinking maybe I should dabble. So thanks, guys, and good luck in the future here with that DEC. I'm gonna buy some DEC to buy Zing or something later, because it's got to go to everywhere, right? It's got to be spread to all the games.
That's the hope.
Righty. Okay, and if you're still listening to the show, if you stuck it with us all of this time, let's go with first 5 people to comment Buckcoins will also receive a Chaos Legion pack each. And I guess that's a wrap.
All right.
Anyone else? Anything? No? So thanks for joining us on episode 200. Again, we'll go around clockwise. Bjangles, Geotrix, Azicon, Yabapi Matt Clark, Buckcoins. Thank you. Peace out.
Alrighty, so thanks for joining us on episode 200 and for making it to the bonus segment of the episode, also known as the giveaway section. Thanks to Yabba and the team at Splinterlands, we have some giveaways to do. We are giving away 5 land plots, 20 standard Conclave Arcana packs, and 5 alchemy packs. And this is how it's going to work. Firstly, you do need to comment on the Hive post, not on YouTube. You're probably aware the changes coming to YouTube, more censorship. This is the whole idea. This is why 3Speak and Hive blockchain exist, is to get away from that centralized, controlled environment. So very soon there will be no Splinterlands content on YouTube if it gets its way. So start the transition now. Get used to it. Start commenting on the Hive blog. This is how it's going to work. If you want a land plot, be the first person to comment correctly, where am I recording from? Second land plot, be the first person to comment correctly, who did Azicon meet up with in Japan? Number 3 land plot, what was the forbidden word? Might have to think a little bit about that one. What was the forbidden word? Plot number 4, be the first person to correctly answer. According to Yabba, what does no one have enough of? And the 5th land plot, be the first person to correctly answer. What element of the game does Yabba want to massively overhaul next? Okay, so that's the 5 land plots. Be the first person to answer correctly, and I will reply to the comment, let you know if you were successful and the correct person to do that. All right, next, alchemy packs. 5 alchemy packs to give away. Be the first 5 people to answer correctly. Where is Hive Hub Guatemala? The first 5 people to correctly answer that will receive an alchemy pack. And lastly, we have 20 Conclave Arcana standard packs to give away. And we'll make this one nice and easy. The first 10 people to comment, Boba Fett is amazing, Boba Fett is wonderful, I want to be just like Boba Fett. The first 10 people to comment that will receive 2 Conclave Arcana packs. So once again, thank you for joining us for episode 200 of Splinterlands 101. We will be back next week with 201. This is not the end. This is just a milestone. Boba Fett, peace out.